Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we are celebrating all things royalty. I have a few reasons for this. The first is that today, season 4 of The Crown is finally available on Netflix. I can't wait, I'm so excited. I've been waiting for this pretty much all year. It's one of the things that has been getting me through 2020. And unfortunately, I still have to wait until my sister gets off of work. I promised I wouldn't watch any episodes without her. And that's honestly why I am sitting here filming a YouTube video in a tiara. It's, you know, I'm waiting for her to get home so we can finally watch The Crown. Here's the deal. Here's how big a deal The Crown is, okay? We are skipping 90 Day Fiancé in order to binge season 4 of The Crown. And if you knew what it was like in this household, that's a pretty big deal. We do not skip 90 Day Fiancé for anything. But definitely watching The Crown tonight instead. And I'm so excited. I'm also very excited because a week from today, there's another spectacular Netflix event happening that I've been waiting for, and that is the Princess Switch 2, Switched Again. I don't know if y'all have seen the Princess Switch with Vanessa Hudgens and two really hot guys named Sam and Nick. I think Nick. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's a masterpiece. I love it so much. I almost want to say I love it more than Christmas Prince, which sounds almost blasphemous because, I mean, Christmas Prince is like, it's not, well, I guess it's not even, it's the Netflix original royal Christmas movie that is just pure and utter brilliance. But you know, Hallmark's been doing the royal romance thing for years now. But there's just something about the Princess Switch, and oh my gosh, I just love it so much. I'm especially excited because this time they're focusing on Margaret and Kevin's romance. I mean, they focused on both romances kind of in the first one, but I feel like Edward and Stacey were like the big one because he was the prince. So of course he's the one we're going to focus on. But this time we get Margaret and Kevin, and oh my gosh, the guy who plays Kevin is so hot. He looks to me like if they were going to make a live action Princess and the Frog, he should totally play Prince Naveen. He is just that gorgeous. So I am very, very excited for next week. And that movie, I'm not waiting for my sister. I will stay up until 2 a.m., which I guess is when it drops because, you know, we have to wait until it's midnight on the West Coast. But I will stay up until 2 a.m. with this tiara on my head to watch this movie. I can't wait. So, given that it's the holiday season, before I go on to the main point of this video, I did want to show you this real quick. Trashy Suspense novel came in, and there's no stripes. This is what the official cover looks like. It's so beautiful. I'm so proud of it. I'm so happy with this book. My giveaway, by the way, went off without a hitch. We had 3 wonderful winners. One was all the way in India, so I was really excited about that. And because there was so much enthusiasm surrounding the giveaway, probably the Amazon gift card, let's be real, but there was so much enthusiasm. I am definitely going to be hosting another giveaway when Once Upon a Time Square comes out. And that's going to be sometime before Christmas. I can't give you an absolute release date just yet. In case you didn't realize, my writing career is like 100% flying by the seat of my pants. I am in writing and in releasing and everything else. I'm not a very good planner by any means. I'm not a plotter. I'm definitely a pantser. But yeah, so I just wanted to show you all this real quick. Congratulations again to my winners. Thank you all who entered so much. Your support and enthusiasm meant the world to me, and I will be doing another giveaway, I promise, with Once Upon a Midnight Clear and Once Upon a Times Square, some more book swag, and probably another gift card, because like I said, I'm pretty sure that was the big seller. But yeah, so thank y'all again. Check out Trashy Suspense novel on Kindle Unlimited, and in paperback on Amazon. Yeah, just thank you all for the support. And now back to our regularly scheduled programming, royalty and Christmas. So, with The Crown coming out, with Princess Switch 2, with all the Hallmark movies that focus on princes and Christmas and their American, American Christmas girlfriends, I was thinking, you know what? I am going to take this opportunity to pitch Once Upon a Midnight Clear as your next Hallmark Christmas movie, or Netflix Christmas movie if you want. I wouldn't say no Netflix either. But Hallmark, I kind of wrote this for y'all in mind. I used to actually work for Hallmark, so I'm kind of already in the business, guys. And I wrote this book actually in memory of the woman who owned the Hallmark store where I worked. She was a very good friend of my mom and our family. And when she passed away, that's when I really decided to get serious about writing this book, because I talked about it forever. I have wanted to write a royal romance Christmas book, gosh, ever since I got addicted to royal romance Christmas movies on Hallmark. And when she passed away, that's what finally inspired me to actually sit down and write it. So you can see this book, Hallmark, come on, it's already part of the family. And now I know I don't have an agent or anything, and usually I've done the reading, and Hallmark movies and publishing really like you to have an agent to pitch your movies or books to them. And like I said, I don't have one. Maybe one day that would be awesome. To be honest, I really haven't queried or shopped around for an agent since 2013. Wow. Yeah, I know, since 2013, when I decided I can do this all by myself. I am very much a, oh man, this pitch is not going well at all. I don't want to say I'm a lone wolf in publishing, because that's not a good mindset to have. But I am very much of the mindset of, I know what I want for my books. I can do it myself, so I'm going to do it myself. That's how I was in high school and college, and even in grad school too. If there was a group project, I said no thank you. I really want to just do it by myself, because I know that I will get it done the way I want it to be done. But that being said, I feel like I can pitch y'all this book right now, Hallmark or Netflix, whoever's watching. Hallmark. I feel like I could pitch this to y'all right now, and you will see why it is just such a good candidate to be made into a movie. And my first point is that it's a story that we know sells. We all will watch every single movie you put out where the prince falls in love with an American girl at Christmas. And I mean, seriously, the movie's been made I don't know how many times, and I've watched every single one of them because they're amazing and I love them, and it's a great story. It makes you happy, and it brings even more joy to the holidays. It is so fun. It's so fun to dream and imagine yourself in one of these countries with the little Christmas markets, and it's so fun. And it's something I think we need really more than ever, especially this year, with everything being kind of a bummer. So yeah, it's a story you already know sells, but it's from I'm sorry, I have an itch on my nose, a completely different perspective. Every time I would watch one of these Christmas movies where the prince falls in love with an American girl, there's always seems to be a princess or a lady or even a former girlfriend of the prince who is out to get the new girlfriend because she's jealous, because she's stuck up, because she thinks this girl can't possibly do the job as well as she could, because she feels like, maybe she feels like this marriage, this prince, this is what's owed to me. Now that's not a good mindset to have. I don't appreciate that one. But I kind of don't blame her for being a little upset that her boyfriend or maybe her ex-boyfriend or her betrothed and like basically the life that she was supposed to have, that another girl just kind of waltzed in and took her place, especially a girl who, you know, probably doesn't really know what she's doing. She may not at all be suited for this job that she's about to marry into, because marrying a prince is not just, you know, getting to wear tiaras and living in a castle. I learned that from The Crown. Let me tell you, when I was growing up, the only thing I ever wanted in life was to be a princess. And then I watched The Crown and I thought, shoot, I don't want that job. I just want to wear a tiara and sing songs with woodland critters. You know, I don't want to go into politics. I don't want to govern. That sounds so hard. But yeah, so, you know, I started thinking that this lady, this princess, who has been overlooked for an American girl with no experience in, you know, foreign affairs or in any sort of diplomacy, I can understand how she'd be a little bitter. You know, that's not cool. I think she's actually the victim, not the villain. And so that is what Once Upon a Midnight Clear is. It is the story of Princess Rosalind, whose former betrothed announces that he is engaged to an American woman named Brittany Walker. And Rosalind, you know, she's not the villain, even though the media has tried to portray her as, oh, you know, the families are now feuding, there's going to be a constitutional crisis amidst these two nations, all that, you know, stuff, and all because Princess Rosalind is trying to steal Nicholas back and, you know, kick Brittany Walker out of San Sicilian. Okay, this is getting very dramatic. But you get my point. So yeah, it's Rosalind's perspective, and you know, okay, again, I don't know where I was going with that. My pitch, this pitch is not, it's not going well at all. It's fine. Just rewind a little bit. So yeah, it's from Princess Rosalind's perspective. And something else I loved about writing Rosalind and Brittany is that in most Hallmark movies, the women, the ex-girlfriend and the current girlfriend, they're like pitted against each other. The ex is always jealous and conniving and trying to sabotage the relationship with the prince. And I'm like, you know what? No, Rosalind's not gonna do that. I ended up really, really loving, actually, the relationship between Brittany and Rosalind. They became really good friends, and it's especially been fun to write them in the sequel, which is the Once Upon a Time Square, where Rosalind and Zach and Nicholas and Brittany all travel to America with a couple additional characters, with Sophie, who's Rosalind's lady-in-waiting, with Tom, her hot new head of security, who looks like Jamie from Outlander, and with my new favorite character. His name is Emil, and he was 100% inspired by Rowan Atkinson. So if you're reading Once Upon a Time Square and Emil comes up, just imagine him as Rowan Atkinson and listen for that voice. Because that's who I am pictured. And you know, I hate to say it, I kind of feel like Emil is going to be my first really divisive character, because he's not controversial by any means, but I can just see some people reading and thinking, oh my gosh, he's so annoying, why did she write him? I've loved him. I think he's hilarious, but and I think some people will like him and think he's hilarious too, but I can totally see some people reading it and thinking, oof, I wish she'd kill this guy off. That's how I felt about in the second Christmas Prince on Netflix. I love those movies. But you know, the second Christmas Prince, they brought her dad on. They completely replaced the first dad, and then they brought a second dad on, and he was just, no offense to the actor, but that character was so obnoxious. I was very happy when he was not very much in the third one at all. But yeah. So I can totally see Emil being one of those people, are either going to love him or they're going to hate him and be like, why did you write him into so much of this book? But yeah, so that's another reason why Once Upon a Midnight Clear should be a Hallmark movie, is because we have a strong female friendship instead of a rivalry. Granted, there is an ex-girlfriend that shows up who is Zach's ex-girlfriend, so I'm kind of a hypocrite on that level. But the main characters are uplifting and best friends. Because, you know, women, we should uplift each other. We should support each other. We should encourage each other. And yeah, I kind of actually, that's one of my regrets actually as an author is in boy band, I made the antagonist, like a woman who is trying to sabotage, my main character. And I'm kind of like, oh, that's kind of a lazy antagonist right there. I should have been more creative. But, I was very young when I wrote that book. I've matured, obviously. I have the crown. I have my grandmother's necklace. This isn't real diamonds at all, but it's one of my very favorites. She gave it to me when I was very little, and it's like, besides my cat, it's like the one thing I would save in a fire. Anyway, so, and, I was talking about the two princesses, two female friends, leads me to another reason why Once Upon a Midnight Clear should be a Hallmark or a Netflix movie, and it's because we get two hot guys. Not just one, we get two, kind of like in the Princess Switch. So our first hot guy we have is Prince Nicholas, and he is the Prince of San Cecilio, which is a principality on the Iberian Peninsula next to Spain. And in my brain, when I was writing him, he looks and sounds like Gael Garcia Bernal. I love him. He is so beautiful. And so he definitely inspired Prince Nicholas. And, I always thought that I don't know if y'all have seen Letters to Juliet, but if I had been Amanda Seyfried, I would have chosen Victor because A, he looks like Gael Garcia Bernal. He is sweet, he is passionate, he is encouraging, and he loves pasta. I mean, guys, that is like my ideal man right there. He would cook me pasta every day, and I would love him. So, yes, Prince Nicholas is Gael Garcia Bernal. And then Zach, when I wrote this, I was thinking, oh yeah, he's Oliver Jackson Cohen for sure. He is a beautiful man. Every time, this is really dumb, but every time he would show up in The Haunting of Bly Manor, my sister and I would be like, why am I supposed to be scared of him? I would sign up for a house haunted by this man. He's beautiful. My little lizard brain, every time, I don't know if y'all have seen She's the Man, but there's a song in it, and every time he showed up, I would literally sing out loud. I would go, "A sexy lady," which is so stupid, but that's what quarantine lizard brain does to you. So he originally was my idea for Zachary Walker. He was my original inspiration, but recently, I have rediscovered my love for AJ Trauth. I don't know if y'all remember, he was Twitty on Even Stevens. He was also in another Disney Channel movie, You Wish. He played Alex. And oh my gosh, when I was a kid, like, middle school, I guess early 2000s when those movies and Even Stevens were out, I had the biggest crush on him. Oh my gosh. And, I tried to follow him as, we both got older. He's like, I think he's 2 years older than I am. So we're basically the same age. And, he kind of disappeared for a while. And I moved on, I fell in love with Matthew Gray Gubler. I fell in love with Bill Hader. I fell in love with Colin Farrell. I've had many celebrity boyfriends since my days as a preteen. But then Disney Plus happened again, and I found myself rewatching Even Stevens, and I thought, man, I wonder what happened to AJ Trauth. So I kind of creeped on him on Instagram, and I found out he is still very beautiful. He's way more beautiful now than he was when he was, 17. He is absolutely gorgeous. And it turns out he also just started up a podcast with his friend Chris, who is also an actor. He actually played Chris in Barry, starring my boyfriend Bill Hader. So it's like all my boyfriends are somehow it's like 6 degrees of Jackie's celebrity crushes going on right now. And I thought, oh my gosh, he was one of my favorite characters in Barry. He was, like I said, he was Chris. He was Barry's Marine friend. No spoilers, but he was excellent in that series. And so they started up a podcast together of child actors and what it was like for them. And they're interviewing, they recently interviewed Stephen Anthony Lawrence, who played Beans on Even Stevens. And okay, I'll be honest, I am a very bad girlfriend. I haven't listened to it yet. I have downloaded every episode, but I haven't got a chance to listen to it yet because it's kind of hard to listen to a podcast and write at the same time. But maybe that's something I'll do while I wait for my sister to get home before we watch The Crown. I mean, I should be working on Once Upon a Time Square, but maybe I'll just listen to the podcast because I really want to support you, AJ. I mean, if we're gonna date one day, I need to be supportive of you. I'm sorry, I'm so creepy. Again, this is lizard brain. Please ignore it. The point of all this is, if they're gonna make Once Upon a Midnight Clear / Once Upon a Time Square into a movie, Oliver Jackson Cohen is a great choice. But AJ, if you're still acting, I would be happy to cast you as Zachary Walker because you're still such a dreamboat, and I support you 100% in your future endeavors. Yeah. Anyway, now that I have, in the middle of this pitch, asked out my middle school celebrity crush, let's go back to actually talking about the book. When I was writing down my list of reasons why it should be made into a Hallmark movie / a Netflix movie, I mean, in my brain, of course, there's so many reasons because I wrote it. I think it's funny. I feel like it could have a very diverse cast if we casted, Gail Garcia Bernal, or I feel like, okay, sorry, Vanessa Hudgens. I'm gonna steal you from Netflix, from Princess Switch franchise, because I feel like she would make a wonderful Princess Rosalind. Or okay, she's a huge star, but I kind of, when I was writing it, I was in a very big Greatest Showman mood, and I was thinking, oh, Zendaya, she would be a perfect Rosalind. She would be beautiful. So I really wrote these characters with, a diverse cast in mind, hopefully, because I think that would be amazing. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be biased here. I'm going to think it should be a Hallmark movie or a Netflix movie, no matter what. But finally, it has a sequel, guys. If you make this into a movie, you get 2 movies out of it. Actually, no, you're going to get a third one, too, because there will be a third. Yeah, just Hallmark, call me. I think it would be great. We would work so well together. I'll do all the work for you. Just call me. So yeah, that's my pitch. I'm not good at pitching things. But if you are interested in reading Once Upon a Midnight Clear, it is available on Kindle Unlimited, and in paperback on Amazon. It's very affordable too. It's I think it's only $8 on for paperback, and I think it was $2.99 on Kindle. So it would make a wonderful Christmas or holiday present for the royal romance enthusiast in your life. And with all that being said, I think we were on chapter 7. So I'll go ahead and read that for you, and then I'm going to go change back into my pajama pants and maybe listen to AJ's and Chris's podcast. Oh, and I don't think I ever mentioned what it's called. It's called The Coogan Chronicles. And yeah, I think it sounds pretty amazing. I think there's probably a lot we could all learn from it too. Those of us who aren't in the industry, but who may, I don't know a single author out there who doesn't dream of one day having their book turned into a movie. I mean, I know that's my dream. I would love to see, that's what this whole video is about, is I would love to see Once Upon a Midnight Clear turned into a movie, a Hallmark movie. But yeah, I'm excited to listen to it, and I'm very excited to know that, AJ Troth is still creating, because, oof, again, he is a beautiful man. Okay, that's enough thirsting on the YouTube. I'm sorry. Let's dive right back into Once Upon a Midnight Clear. If you remember, Princess Rosalind is visiting her former betrothed, Prince Nicholas, in San Cecilio. She has met his new fiance. She's kind of helping her with princess lessons. They're trying to set her up with a viscount who she's not interested in at all. And she snuck out of the palace and ran into a handsome young man who turned out to be none other than Brittany's big brother, Zachary. So this is right after they kind of realized who the other was, and they're at a banquet welcoming the Walker family into the palace. So, chapter 7. At 5:45, guests began migrating into the great hall for the banquet. Eager to put as much distance between Zach and myself as possible, I follow the crowd and sit myself near the far end of the table. I'm certain that, as the guest of honor, the Walkers will be seated next to Princess Isabel and Prince Vincent at the head, so I should be safe from any scathing glances or unspoken questions. And remember, I don't do accents. Accents are hard, and I'm not good at them, and I don't want to offend anybody. Rosalind, what are you doing? Or perhaps not. I glance up to see Nicholas standing over me, looking rather amused. I'm sitting. Not here. Come, you and Weston will sit with Brittany and me. Oh, that's very kind of you, but I think I would be more comfortable if I were to just stay here. Is this about Zach? Of course not. Why would you ask such a thing? Because you seemed nervous when you were around him. Has he done something to offend you? No, not at all. I don't think I should be around him. Why not? Because Mother warned me that American men are scoundrels. And that is when Nicholas throws his head back and laughs. Perhaps some of them are, but Zach is a good man. Did you know that he takes care of animals? He asks. Oh yeah, remember Zachary's a veterinarian, because that's, men who love animals are just so sexy. That's all there's to it. I have major lizard brain today, you guys. I'm so sorry. I apologize. Maybe it's the green sparkly dress. I don't know. It's just giving me lizard brain. I don't know. It's 2020. That's all it is. It's 2020. Did you know that he takes care of animals? Come on, give him a chance. Very well, I sigh. That's the spirit. Nicholas smiles, offering me his hand. I take it and allow him to escort me to the head of the table where Brittany and Weston are already seated across from the Walker family. Everyone rises, of course, when Princess Isabel and Prince Vincent make their entrance. As daughter of the late sovereign and reigning monarch of San Cecilio, Princess Isabel takes her place at the head of the table, with her consort Prince Vincent directly to her right, and her heir Nicholas to her left. Before we begin, a word of welcome, Princess Isabel proclaims. To you, our beloved family and cherished friends, thank you for your presence here tonight, and for sharing in our joy as we celebrate not only this Christmas season, but also the marriage of our son, Prince Nicholas, to Miss Brittany Walker. Princess Isabel pauses to exchange a fond look with her son and future daughter-in-law. And to the Walker family, it is our honor and privilege to welcome you here tonight, for you have provided us with one of our greatest blessings, a beautiful, kind, and compassionate young woman who loves our Nicholas with all her heart. As a mother, that is all I can ever hope to ask for my son. So thank you, and welcome to the family. Princess Isabel then raises her crystal goblet of wine in a toast. Now I invite you all to be seated and to enjoy your evening. Somehow, in spite of everything that has transpired this evening, I managed to find myself smiling. That's one of the many things I love about Princess Isabel. When you're a guest at her table, it is impossible not to smile. Throughout the course of the banquet, conversations are kept light, and although I am seated directly across from Zach, neither of us exchanges so much as a glance all evening. Granted, I do steal a glimpse here and there, but every time he's either engaged in conversation or staring down at his plate. It seems he is as keen to avoid me as I am him. After dinner, Princess Isabel invites a select few to stay for wine and dessert. Although I truly am beginning to feel out of sorts after a long and trying day, I also know it would be rude to decline. So taking Lord Weston's arm once more, I follow him, Nicholas, and Brittany into the parlor, a cozy, dimly lit room that immediately puts me in mind of the atmosphere at Donna's. And my afternoon with Zach. He's there, of course, along with his parents, and one of Nicholas's female cousins who seems to be attempting to strike up a conversation with him. He answers her questions politely, but I can tell, even from across the room, that he's distracted. While my friends disperse throughout the parlor, I slip away and settle into a chair by the fireplace. If I can just sit here long enough to be seen, and to thank Princess Isabel for a delightful evening, then perhaps I'll be able to take my leave. Your Highness? I glance up to see a young man holding a silver platter of wine glasses. Oh, no thank you, I smile at him. Sir? He addresses someone behind me. No thanks. A very familiar voice answers. I turn just in time to see Zach, taking a seat in the chair next to me. So I guess this explains a few things, he comments. Such as? Your perfect posture, for one. Your indirect answers about your upbringing and being between jobs, he lists. why you assumed you would never see me again? I guess that sort of backfired, didn't it? I offer a weary smile, hoping to lighten the mood. To be fair, I thought the same thing, he admits. Is that why you told me you were only here in town for a few days? Easier than telling you I flew in for my sister's royal wedding, he reasons. So why are you really here? What do you mean? Well, if all those news articles are to be believed, you're scheming to stop the wedding and win Nicholas back. Oh, so that's why he was acting so antagonistic toward me earlier. Because he's read those wretched reports. Do you think that's why I'm here? The girl I met this afternoon didn't strike me as the scheming type. Good, because I'm not, I assure him. I came at Princess Isabel's invitation, and my mother's request. So when you said you were visiting family, it was almost true. My mother and Princess Isabel have been friends for years. Our families are very close. Still? Even after everything that's happened with Nicholas and my sister? I nod. I know the tabloids and magazines were trying to sell the story that the monarchs were feuding, hearts were broken, and that ending an arranged engagement would cause some grand political upheaval between nations. But our betrothal was always more of a personal decision between our parents than any sort of political agreement. So there were no cries for vengeance or duels to the death atop a jagged cliff, he grins. Of course not, this isn't Game of Thrones. Actually, I was thinking more of the Princess Bride. That's another book I've been told to read. Well, if I'm being completely honest, I haven't read that one either. But the movie's great. Okay, cut in. I, unlike my characters, have read the book. I love it. I have an illustrated version of it. It's right there. It's amazing. my characters are lame. I don't know. But the movie's great. Maybe we can request it if your sister hosts another one of her movie nights. Zach chuckles under his breath. Typical Brit. She moves into a castle and all she wants to do is watch movies and build blanket forts. I'm about to assure him that it's all part of her charm when I notice someone approaching out of the corner of my eye. I glance around to see Lord Weston approaching with 2 glasses of wine. Thought you might like a drink, he announces, offering one to me. Then, as though he's only just noticed that I'm not alone, he says, hello again, Mr. Walker. It's Doctor, actually, Zach corrects him. Oh, right, your animals. I remember reading about them. You do? I ask. When? After Nicholas and Britt first announced their engagement, every media outlet in the world had something new to say about the princess to be and her family. Actually, there were a couple of articles written exclusively about you, weren't there? Can't believe everything you read online, Zach tells him. I was reminded of that about 5 minutes ago. I see. So it's not true then that you broke up with your long-term girlfriend to pursue, how do I phrase this, nobler prospects? If he's hoping to intimidate Zach, it isn't working. Zach remains as calm and confident as ever. Even, dare I say, a little amused. I think it's just about time for bed, he says, rising up out of his chair. I can't help but notice that, at his full height, he towers almost a head above Weston. I'm certain Weston is well aware of it, too. Quite right. You've had a long day, after all. Probably jet-lagged, Weston comments, stepping aside to allow Zach to pass. Have a good night. Yeah, you too, Zach replies before turning his attention back to me. Good night, Your Highness. I smile back at him. Sleep well, Dr. Walker. It isn't long after Zach goes to bed that I also turn in for the night. Of course, I'm not at all surprised when Weston offers to walk me to my room. And I hope I'm not wrong to let him. I know that he's still the smart match. But I also know that his isn't the face I'll be seeing in my dreams tonight. So what did you and Mr. Walker discuss this evening? He asks as we ascend the grand staircase. Oh, this and that. He wasn't disrespectful, was he? The question is so absurd I don't know whether to laugh or take offense. Certainly not. He was the perfect gentleman. Good, Weston says, though his tone is short. I've met his type, in London. And what type might that be? Cocky, confident, the Hollywood type. Actually, he lives in Ohio. Not that I'm all that familiar with American geography. I do know that Hollywood is in California, though. They come from all over, but they're all the same. They think they deserve the world and all because of their handsome features. And if you don't believe me, look him up online. He advises me as we come to a stop outside of my bedroom door. I'm halfway into my room before I turn back around to face him. You may recall, Lord Weston, that the press has not always been kind to me either, I point out. Good night. And with that, I close the door and leave him to dwell while I prepare myself for bed. Once I've changed into my blue satin nightgown and brushed my teeth, I settle in beneath the heavy blankets and embroidered comforter. Then I pick up my phone from the nightstand, connect to the internet, and type Zach's name into the search engine. The articles that Weston referenced appear almost immediately. Princess-to-be Brittany Walker has a brother, and he's hot. Prince Charming who? Turns out Zachary Walker is the fairest of them all. 10 delectable details about Brittany's dreamy brother. We've all heard the story of how American travel agent Brittany Walker took the trip of a lifetime to San Cecilio and won the heart of a real-life prince. But what do we know about her older brother, Zachary, who looks like he walked straight out of a fairy tale himself? Number 1, he's a doctor. More specifically, he's a veterinarian for exotic wildlife. You read that right. Zach has worked at 3 different zoos around the country, caring for thousands of animals, including endangered species such as African elephants, gorillas, giraffes, California sea lions, and even polar bears. 2, he's an avid reader. A few of his favorite titles include The Giver by Lois Lowry, The Lord of the Rings trilogy by J.R.R. Tolkien, and In the Shadow of Man by Jane Goodall. Number 3, he did theater in high school. How adorable is that? Although he never took center stage, he performed in the chorus of such shows as Anything Goes and West Side Story. Number 4, he's romantic. He and his girlfriend Emma Wilson have been together over 3 years. Just a few months ago, he surprised her with a trip to the Florida Keys for their anniversary. Number 5, he can't cook. A self-described novice in the kitchen, Zach rarely attempts anything more complicated than mac and cheese. But you know what? We bet that mac and cheese is as delicious as he is. Number 6, he loves to work out, and he's got the body to prove it. Let's be real, the future brother-in-law of the Prince of San Cecilio is cut. Just check out these shirtless pictures from his Instagram. 7, he suffers from coulrophobia. Big time. The man who has delivered baby lion cubs and operated on Nile crocodiles is deathly afraid of clowns. Although we don't know the specifics, we're going to go ahead and blame this one on Stephen King. Number 8, he loves girls who are smart. As if this guy couldn't get any dreamier, he is definitely one to admire a woman's intellect above her looks. Of course, with his gorgeous marketing manager girlfriend Emma, he gets the best of both worlds. Number 9, when he was growing up, he was into dinosaurs and Greek mythology. Fitting for a man who looks like he belongs on Mount Olympus himself. Number 10, like most older brothers, he is very supportive and protective of his little sister Brittany, and we seriously doubt her becoming a princess will change all that. These reports are rather old. Still, I'm surprised I managed to miss them. I'm even more surprised by how the American media practically made Zach a celebrity just because his sister is getting married. If these articles are any indication, he's more famous than most of the royals I know, myself included. And if their content is accurate, that means that Zach was, at one point, very serious about this Emma Wilson. I wonder what happened. I don't believe that for an instant what Lord Weston insinuated earlier, that Zach would break up with someone he cared about because he thought he could do better. At least, I don't think I do. After all, I barely know him. He may very well be just as conceited and ambitious as Weston would have me believe. Somehow, though, I don't think he is. Once again, Once Upon a Midnight Clear is available on Amazon and Kindle Unlimited. Hallmark, give me a call. I'm here. Bye. Have a good rest of the week, and happy November.